This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game.
Alright, who's going to start us off?
Players in disguise.
More than meets the year.
Why did I put up with you guys?
I'm just going to end the call right now.
Hello, I am Tristan, aka Shagrazier on the Rooster Teeth website.
Was that the intro?
Apparently, yes.
Why you always do that?
I am Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
I'm Malachi, aka Sukihiba.
I can't believe we're keeping that intro.
There's
I'm
this little thing in
Joseph.
the industry we call rolling with it.
I'm going to roleplay with it. I am Joseph, aka Jay Dunlap, on the Rooster Teeth side, and I put on my robe and wizard hat.
No, if you role play, you have to be a different person than yourself.
Oh.
You're Hot Mess 75.
No, that's me. I am
Wizard
Hot
of
Mess
Tharsis.
75.
No, you're role playing as Hot Mess 75 before, because that's your character that you role play.
I'm so confused.
I'm more confused. What are we doing today, Joseph? Where's the schedule at?
The schedule,
The schedule?
it's literally right in front of me.
Okay.
Oh my god, I really am going to end the call. If I end the call, I mean, I'm just going to hit end because I didn't actually initiate the call.
The Blues are playing? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, the Blues are playing.
Okay, we'll be fast, I think. So, we are going to talk about 4 things today. First off, new RT stuff, specifically beginning new seasons of pre-existing shows. We're not going to talk about RVB because that's still going on, and we'll talk about that when the season's closer to being done. RTX is coming up. We're going to talk briefly, primarily about panels, and then we're going to go on to our new segment, Replay Value, that we started, I think, last episode, where we talk about retro gaming and Pokemon, and then we're going to give a roundup of E3.
That means I have to make a new slate.
We can make Tristan make it.
You can make.
I mean, I technically make new stuff anyways each episode.
You do a great
what
job
I used
with
to do.
videos.
I miss
Thank you.
having Photoshop because I used to make all those slates like bam, 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 done, new pictures, easy.
Bam, bam. Help me
But
out,
now
man.
it's
Bam,
done
bam.
with Microsoft Paint.
I use that and PowerPoint. It's PowerPaint.
Power Paint.
So speaking of retro gaming, before we get into RT stuff, I wanted to and did yesterday go to a game store and bought Burnout 3.
Oh my.
That's the one where you're like racing cars around and you smash them up.
Yup. And I played it in college because it was a long time ago. I mean, it wasn't a long time ago. I was in college. And Michael and I have been playing a lot of Burnout lately.
He's your best friend from college.
No, Michael is my 7-year-old son.
I thought we were going with the it hasn't been a long time since you were in college.
Shut up.
Hey, I didn't out you.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I missed Burnout. Burnout's a fun game.
I
And
remember Burnout
Yeah.
Paradise. Where does 3 fall in the series? Before or after Paradise?
Paradise was like 4 or 5. That was the
Okay.
one with open world, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the one that didn't go over so well. Burnout 3 had a pretty decent rating everywhere. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10.
Nice. So
I
you're
think-
blowing up cars, teaching your
Yeah.
7-year-old son that exploding cars are fun?
He's learning what not to do. He's also learning how to aggressively knock out your opponent's death race style.
He's gonna do great on Mopac.
Right?
I can't wait for him to get his permit.
He's not bad. He's doing okay. He just crashes too much, into cars he's not supposed to. So, funny thing is, you hit a car that you're supposed to hit with like the blue arrow over it, and it's like, yeah, well done. And then they just bump a little bit. You hit a car barely like going 20 miles an hour that's not one of those, and you explode.
It's like, love to. Oh, yeah. Start race over.
So speaking of love taps, our first thing is new RT stuff. So what's coming out with Rooster Teeth?
Love Tap.
I hope not. Although, that could be an interesting name for a segment. What would it be about?
It
Anyway,
could be a spin-off of Sex Swing.
I hope Hot Mess 75 is going to be there.
yes. She'll be your host.
I mean, they do have always open and relationship goals that kind of tend towards that stuff. But those aren't new RT shows.
No,
So what are the new ones?
Well, okay. Well, new sequels to RT shows.
RT Animation. They've been coming out with new fun stuff.
Yes, they have 2 sequels that recently started. Ruby Chibi, which I believe is on episode 6. Episode 7 might be coming out this week, which is obviously going to be in the past from when this releases. And then
Can't Be Psychic, episode 8 is coming out this week.
Camp Season 2 has started just recently, these past couple weeks. So I'm happy to see that. I like Camp.
Let's not forget...
Camp is fun, because I like Michael just raging at people.
Yeah.
Raging against the system.
Let's not forget that they're also probably done filming Day 5, or they will be soon.
They are done filming Day 5.
Yeah.
I
forgot about Day 5.
Lo Zelda was part of it. She let us know that they wrapped. And not to mention that Josh Flanagan, I think, also posted on Twitter when they wrapped. And so now I think it's just like they might be doing editing for it, and that's it.
Post-production.
Yeah. I'm assuming Lazer Team, they've probably finished filming too as well. Lazer Team 2.
What do they call that? Principal cinematography? Principal photography?
Yes.
I'm not in the business.
You just know the lingo, Tristan.
I know the lingo, sort of. I'm cool like that.
So
Look
that was
how
Camp,
cool I
but
am.
there's also Ruby Chibi stuff, right? Has
Ruby
that started up?
Chibi! I do enjoy
I
Ruby
said that.
Chibi. It's funny and lighthearted.
It is
Okay,
funny.
sorry.
I saw an episode. It was Pyrrha and Jean and Nora, and Pyrrha was levitating some metal disc like a UFO over like a miniature farm setup, and then she sneezed and dropped it, and it crushed the farm quite unexpectedly, and Nora started crying, and I laughed a lot harder than I should have.
Yeah, there's a couple times that...
Screw you guys, it was funny.
Well, there was a couple times that Pyrrha has picked up a coin then, because there was one where she was walking with Sean on the street, and she's like, she finds a coin, and she like sings some song about a coin, about like a penny, and like holding on to it, and then Ruby just goes by, she's like, already ahead of you, and she's holding actual penny.
Yeah, they do funny puns.
Yeah.
Punny funs?
Funny puns.
They're punny.
They're punny.
Speaking of puns, I saw a Father's Day themed video today where it was a bad pun off. And it was all these like youth pastors and children's pastors doing pun offs with each other. And the first person to laugh was the loser. That's funny.
So who lost? Did the priest lose?
Well, one of them.
Pastor.
Yeah. But it was multiple groups of guys competing against each other. It was 1-on-1. And they were pretty okay. Like,
how quick
I
were
wasn't
they on the
busting out
draw?
laughing.
Like, I don't know how quick were they on the draw? Because I don't know how quickly I could come up with a pun for whatever the situation is.
They were ready to go.
They
already had a joke.
Did they script it or something?
No, they just came prepared with jokes on papers. It wasn't so much dad jokes as much as it was just bad puns.
Okay.
Kind of like how I was at the mall when I got Burnout, and I like doing one-liners when I put my sunglasses on as I'm about to leave a building. And Gina came up with one, and I was like, no, that's not good enough. Here we go. Well, I guess I've seen them all.
As in, like, SCENE?
Seen them all. Seen them all. I don't need your approval.
Oh, the mall. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It went over my head because I wasn't there.
My jokes, you have to let my jokes marinate.
Yeah, think about them for a second. They go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
We're extremely funny here at Player 4 Podcast.
I killed the podcast.
Oh.
So that means we should move on to the RTX First Access panels?
Yeah, what is that?
Yes. So RTX, there's a few things regarding panels. The first thing is if you are a first member, then you get access to a certain select number of panels. But there are kiosks when you get to RTX where you can get a little badge or something, credentials of some kind to prove that you are a first member. And it happens on site. So if you're a first member and there's a panel that you want to go to, that's how you get in, is on site you get your credentials. That was something that was interesting to me. I didn't know that was going to be a thing.
Well,
So
they
you
did
get
it.
First star on your
They
entry badge.
kind of did it last year when they announced
Double gold.
that they were going to make it become first, and people that were first got stickers. They didn't really get anything that time. I think it was just like, hey, let's see how this goes over. From that idea, they're like, well, now let's do something else with that this next time and make it so that there's only certain panels that first people can go in.
Well, with the exception of our panel, I don't really talk about last year.
We were
I'm
there
sorry,
for
Jason.
a day.
I was there for in Austin, maybe a total of 4 hours. Anyway,
So it was a quickie.
it was a quickie.
You knew it was going to go there.
It was.
I
I
knew
knew it was going to come there.
coming.
So, speaking of panels, so we dive into the whole community panel thing.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's open that can of worms.
Who wants to tackle that? How is that? It's not a pun.
You tackle.
Ha
Are we?
It's a fishing joke. Tackle.
Oh,
That's what a can of worms is. It's tackle.
okay. I made it funny. I was thinking more, Pokemon, but okay. But let's HMO one to the chase.
Oh my god.
I made a Pokemon joke. Yay!
Oh my god.
Remember when Alex had to explain it?
So
Yeah, I'm not
So,
explaining it again.
we've all been kind of staring at the schedule that they handed out the other week, and it's color coded by RT panels, achievement hunter panels, so and so, yada yada, screw attack, all the different groups, and then there was one color, some shade of green for community panels, and we hadn't heard about any community panels or any application for community panels, so we were a little confused by the idea that there would be anything considered a community panel. And then we found the green boxes on the schedule and realized that only a couple of them really seemed to merit the title community panel.
Couple being literal here.
Yeah.
What were some of the titles?
Well, the ones that qualify are D&D and Drunks, and Shiznos, if I understand that correctly, the community podcast Shiznos. I might be wrong.
We think it's the community podcast, Shiznos. Those were the only ones that we recognized. Like, there were a couple that we weren't familiar with, so those really could be community panels, but then, there were things like Meg Turney and John Reisinger. It's like they're RT staff or affiliates. They're not community members, per se. So we've really just been looking at the community panels list and calling it, the RT's best friends panels.
Which, if that is what it is, then call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't tell them what panels to have, but
We're just,
if we're rebranding the word community to mean RT's friends, then let's just be upfront about that.
yeah, it's really what it does is it gets us a little concerned that there is a redefining of the term RT community, what constitutes the RT community anymore. We were looking around for, I think last year we were saying that there was a community hunters panel, which was all about the community that was based around Achievement Hunter that made videos that could post and were given a community hunters slate to put in their videos. Like, that's a community. They're not part of RT, but they are able to post under the RT brand and have a family there outside of, but affiliated or...
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they've got one this year.
It's really strange and worrisome when, we've been here for years and considering ourselves at least some part of the RT community, and we have friends within that community, that now it's becoming harder and harder to really celebrate or even take part in the community. This got negative, I'm sorry.
Well, okay, for the sake of clarification, we're not just upset that we never got a chance to apply for a panel that we had sort of been planning on having ever since last year, because we've got friends that are used to having panels as well. There's Glowshark, which they, as a podcast, are not going to get a panel this year. They do have D&D and Drunks, which was a tremendous, just out-of-nowhere success, I think, 2 years ago, and that's great. But that's the only representation of the people we actually know.
I think it started in 2013. I think I recently read a journal by Obo
Well,
Frazee.
2013 was when they first started playing D&D at RTX.
Right.
That was when we were all meeting up at Fido's,
Yeah.
I believe, and they were doing their little video. So it's what's the word? It's a little disheartening. It's not, and I want to clarify yet again, it's not, oh, we didn't get our panel. It's more like nobody really got their panel. And it feels like sort of a rebranding without anyone actually coming out and saying community no longer means our fans.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's not a good feeling.
So we'll see how that changes the dynamic of RTX. We just wanted to bring it up because we had talked multiple times over the past few months about when we get a panel, at our panel we're going to do this. So it felt right to go ahead and come out and say there is no panel.
You know, I'd like to also say that if anybody who does listen to this has any thoughts on this, for or against, or anything about it, you know, they should feel free to share that with us by one of the means of communicating with us, either on Facebook or on like the YouTube comment or something like that, because we'd love to have that input.
Definitely, and by that token, if you guys want to meet up with us at RTX, we can make that happen most likely. We can plan something, whether it's officially P4 or whether it's just if you want to see us, you know, we can make something happen if you've got any suggestions.
It's true. We can get, like, pizza somewhere together or hang out in a hotel room and talk and chat and play video games, whatever you like. That could be fun.
It's not just P4, because we're not the only people who are just missing our opportunity to have our voice heard at RTX and have our friends come and support us. There's an awful lot of us. We were all... Yeah, Lipshark. I mean, there was a point where Ken, Dickerman, and Andres were wanting to have a panel, I think, last year. Yeah, the BitBlender folks. I didn't say BitBlender because it's not so much a podcast anymore, although Ken does upload his Let's Plays.
Okay. I was going to say, are they still creators?
Ken and Bonnie are definitely still creating content, so I felt like they were worth mention. And Andres still likes to do things. He's got his comic books. Glipshark folks. There's an awful lot of us that, even though we lost our panels, we didn't lose our community.
Yes. So
I would love for all of us to just come together at some point before RTX and just hang out. So with that said, does that mean we move on to replay value?
Yes, we should move through replay value quickly.
Yes, replay value. Guys, I finished Pokemon Blue, as I mentioned, and I started Pokemon Silver. And I had this awesome team planned out, but then I realized if I put Eevee and a Ditto in the daycare and let him bang for a while, while I ride my bike.
Wow.
While I ride my bike.
I want to ride my bicycle.
While my Eevees bang. And then I grab the eggs, and then I ride my bike more while they bang, and I get more eggs, and they bang, and I get more eggs, and next thing you know,
Joseph, this is a family podcast.
Sure,
you know how many times you're going to have to bleep that?
I'm not bleeping the word and if I do, it'll make it that much funnier.
I'm going to bleep the word.
So, long story short, I have a team of evolutions now.
Yay! They're cute.
I already had my team, and it was like level 21, 22, which was perfect for what I was about to do, and I stopped for like 3 days just to level up Eevees. So I've got all 5 evolutions for Gens 1 and 2.
Your 6th Pokemon is just Eevee.
Well, I wanted to. The problem is, Eevee does not learn Cut. You can't finish the game without Cut. So instead, I was thinking, well, okay, Cut is necessary. Strength is actually kind of necessary too. Unfortunately, Rock Smash is, but I couldn't find someone that could learn Rock Smash alongside Cut and Strength. If Golem could learn Cut, it would have been Golem. But then I thought, well, Fly's kind of important, so who can learn Cut, Strength, and Fly? So my 6th member is actually Charizard.
Blasphemy.
Well, that's not an Eevee.
Still disappointed in this decision.
I know you're saying it's a waste of Charizard, but I already have Flareon. Charizard's not the fire type of the group, he's the flying type of the group.
And he's not a dragon.
Oh no. You made him the flying type of the group?
He knows fly,
yeah,
which is really powerful.
Him the flying type. He wasn't born flying type.
The flying type chose him.
Malachi, my whole world is upside down. I don't understand what's happening.
Eevee should have been the flying type.
I wish. If Eevee could fly and Eevee could learn Cut, it would be 6 Eevees and evolutions. I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm sorry.
HMs, old gen HMs with any of my team was non-existent. Just HMs never touched any of my team members. It was like a disease.
Well, how did you finish the game?
You would bring out the Pokemon that you need and use it
at the center before you go to the...
It's not the Pokemon you need. What is the Pokemon you deserve?
You know, before you fight the Elite Four, there's usually a Pokemon Center with all your
Sure.
stuff there after you get through
But
the...
fly does a butt ton of damage.
It also takes 2 turns to do. I don't have
So
that kind
what?
of patience.
Yeah, in the middle of those 2 turns, it can't be attacked, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't have enough patience for that. I want to kill the Pokemon that I'm fighting in the first turn.
Anyway,
and
This is the
then-
guy who yelled at me for not holding my space bar because I didn't have the patience to float on the surface of the water in Minecraft.
Exactly. It's totally different.
It's totally right. Gotcha.
I'm following you.
Like I said at the time, I could lose you following me just by turning a corner.
and he was going in lines.
Going in
Man.
lines.
We're talking OG P4 now.
P4 Craft, man. We need to bring that
Yeah.
back because,
Well-
we got this whole server that has a nether and
I
an
still
end that
have-
needs to be done.
I still have all this footage and audio, but our last recording session, the one that I'm working on, we went for like an hour 45. And I kept saying, we're going too long, this is going to take forever. And everyone's like, no, shut up, it doesn't matter. And that's why I haven't finished editing it.
But that was
and
like
also I'm having-
months ago.
Yes, I was teaching at a college. You may remember that. Like I was teaching a full-time college, teach.
You have a job?
Yeah, and then this summer I missed her momming because Gina's taking two summer courses that are going to last up until the end of July.
Yeah, but that's why the
So-
kids have Minecraft.
Well, okay. Sarah is too young to focus on anything for very long, except pretending that she's a Pokemon, and it's a different one each day.
Is it Voltorb today?
Today she's Punkaboo.
I'm sorry, what?
I called her Punkaboo last night, and she's
What's-
Punkaboo today.
What's a Punkaboo?
She's
Is that,
Punkaboo.
is that a Pokemon?
Yes.
Does she like Raichu now?
I don't think she likes Raichu. I don't know. I like Raichu. My
She didn't like Raichu.
Her
My
reason
brother-
for not liking Raichu sounded a little racist.
Yeah.
my Pokemon deck still has Raichu in it, by the way. So speaking of kids and games, Michael started playing Pokemon Blue.
Oh.
Starting them
Yeah.
off from the beginning.
Is he
Yup.
doing the typical kid thing where he just uses one Pokemon the whole way through?
Pretty much.
Is he
He's got a-
actually going to build a team that Val and I will approve of that we didn't approve of yours?
Probably not. I'm trying to influence him, but he keeps changing his team.
No, don't influence him because then he'll choose the wrong team.
Exactly.
Oh, shut up. He had a level 3 Pikachu and a level 28 whatever Squirtle evolves into. It's not Blastoise. I keep saying Blastoise, but it's not.
Or Tortle.
Yeah, he's got a level 28 Wartortle and a level 3 Pikachu. And I was like, Michael, you're supposed to switch to Pikachu and then switch back. So a second later he goes, they killed Pikachu when I switched to him. I'm like, don't switch to him during the middle of the battle.
Put him out first.
So I
And
looked
then
at
on
it
the
and
first
his
turn,
roster,
switch to the Wartortle.
his roster's in the complete wrong order. So I reorder it for him. And I put the level 3 Pikachu first. And then a little bit later, Pikachu's level 10. Then he goes, Daddy, I accidentally closed the game because he's using emulator. And I didn't save for the past hour. I'm like, Michael, that's not my problem.
Wow.
He's learning the importance of hitting the save button.
I told him, hanging out in my office, I was getting work done, and we were both playing. I was playing red, so I could sort of keep up with him, and he was playing blue. And the whole time, I'm going, Michael, you probably should save. It's like every 10 minutes, I'm like, save your game, Michael. An hour later, he goes, oh, I closed it. I didn't save. I'm like,
So now you're gonna have to reorder his Pokemon again. He's gonna have to start with that level 3 that dies all the time.
yeah. Well, he got that taken care of, and I think he's playing it right now. So he knows how to power level his characters now with the 28 Wartortle. Yeah. So that's my Pokemon replay value. We're having a good time, I think.
I think.
Well, let's round up with E3.
Oh, nice segue there.
Ooh. So E3 happened this past week, and I watched a couple of things from it. Basically, for those of you who've been living under a rock, E3 is a live show like any of these conventions, like RTX that we go to, except it's where all the game developers and their respective producers and distributors and the companies like Microsoft and PlayStation, all of them, Sony,
They dropped their pants.
come out and show off their new stuff and get people excited to spend money on it. There's big lists of new games coming out, new technology, there's VR going on, any number of things. And so I wanted to I've got the E3 site up, so I was looking at what they called the top upcoming games overall, which is usually by popularity during the show. Number of people who said they were excited about these. And I was marveling at the fact that, like, the top 3 or 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, they're all expansions to existing games rather than new games. And I thought that was kind of an interesting trend, that in this new age of digital media and the ability to distribute downloadable content to your existing game after a person has already bought it has really kind of... It was already happening, but now you're really starting to see how moving forward this is shaping the industry. So rather than coming out with new stuff, it's years and years of improvements to existing stuff before they finally say, okay, we've beaten this dead horse enough, it's time to kill a new horse. So, just according to E3's own list, their top games, the top 3 were Injustice 2, Fighter Pack 1. That's number 1, is just a DLC that adds fighters to the Injustice 2 Gods Among Us 2 game.
People love that Injustice 2.
I've not actually played it. I've seen it. It looks good.
I'm not a fighting game person, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, I play them, I enjoy them, but I don't go seeking them. Number 2 was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, The Champion's Ballad. So again, an expansion to the existing game. I have played a little Breath of the Wild. It does look pretty. It bugged me how quickly you had to switch weapon to weapon to weapon as they all got destroyed just from using them to hit a few things. Especially when, like, you're at the beginning of the game and you pick up with, like, a little bow, and then you get a stronger bow, and you're like, oh man, this is so much better, and so you use it, and then it breaks after, like, 10 shots, and you have to go back to using the crappy bow. It's like, Ugh. And then 3 was Horizon Zero Dawn, The Frozen Wilds, yet another expansion to a game, in this case Horizon, which I still want to try because it looked, like, really pretty and fun. And I like the concept of it being so far in the future that technology has overthrown humanity as the dominant species, and they're, like, hiding from predatory robots.
Wait, isn't that sort of the plot of... Oh, what's that one old PC game? Microman.
Microman? I've not played Microman. Tell me about Microman.
Microman is an old, late 90s PC game where this scientist in, like, this Mega Man outfit shrinks himself down on accident, and now he's fighting tiny robots. And it's a platformer.
Oh. Are they, like, robot dinosaurs?
No. Is this what we're talking about? Robot dinosaurs?
I mean, it doesn't matter what shape they take, but yes, in Horizon Zero Dawn, they are robot dinosaurs, effectively. The idea in Horizon Zero Dawn is that mankind has fallen from its place at the top of the food chain and is, like, reduced to, you know, Stone Age, Bronze Age level technology to fight these super advanced, intelligent, self-replicating robots.
That's pretty cool. I'm there.
And it's that whole lasers in the jungle kind of feel where you're walking around these areas that were once cities that are now overgrown with giant forests and have been completely returned to their you know, wild, natural state, nearly, as humanity was forced to flee its metropolises to escape the encroaching predatory robots. At least that's what I pick up. I'd like to try it and know more. Number 5 is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Not a Hero, an expansion. Red Dead Redemption 2 is at least a sequel and not an expansion. That's supposed to be coming in 2018, second quarter. That should be fun, because Red Dead Redemption was a pretty cool game. World War II version of Call of Duty World War II, so I guess they're kind of going back to their roots. Resident Evil 2 Remake, oh my goodness. I don't know if any of you have played Resident Evil 2.
Nope.
No.
It's the one that introduced, and forgive me if I've gotten this wrong, but I'm fairly certain that it's the one that introduced Leon Kennedy as a character, originally. The 2 characters in the game were Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, Chris Redfield's sister. And you're in Raccoon City, and this is just after the events of Resident Evil 1, where the zombies and the Titan virus, you know, have this outbreak in the mansion, which is just outside of Raccoon City. So this is as that's going on, or just after. and the zombies have made their way down to Raccoon City, and you play as Leon Kennedy, it's his first day on the police force in Raccoon City, and he's gonna be the best officer he can be. Only what the heck just happened? Everybody went nuts and started running around and screaming, and there were alarms going off, and all of the people who were training him and telling him what his job is gonna be, and all the cops that were mentoring him, locked him in the room and ran off to go fight the zombie hordes, and you have to survive and make your way around the police station, which has puzzle locks on all the doors, and they're all locked.
Well, the police can't be too careful.
Yeah, they can't be too careful that their own officers get around inside the station in any kind of, efficient manner.
Maybe they're
Of
wizards.
course.
In any event, so you spend a lot of time collecting funny-colored key cards and solving puzzles inside the police station. And it's because it's the formulaic re-skinning of the first game, because the first game was collecting funny-shaped keys and solving puzzles to get through the mansion. The difference was that kind of made sense, because every piece of writing and every journal and diary and crap you found throughout the game suggested that the guy who built the mansion was a complete nutcase, and was, trying to get his servants killed because he was sadistic. So you kind of went, okay, yeah, of course there's a death trap, preventing me from getting through this door, and either I solve it or I die, because the guy was completely insane and built this place to be horrible. But why the police station? Why is it designed the same way?
Maybe the guy that owned the mansion was an architect.
Maybe. The top 10 list, those are some prime picks off the top 10 list of expansions to existing games. I did want to bring up one other title that I happened to see while browsing YouTube videos of games from E3, which kind of tickled me a bit. It's called Sea of Thieves, and it's an open-world pirate game, and this thing is, pardon the pun, but deep. The mechanics of the game, they're really far-reaching. You have this big, vast ocean with lots of little islands that you can get a boat and sail around and then go onto the islands and explore the islands, and you can jump off your boat and swim around underwater and find, wrecked ships and steal treasure from them and board other ships and sink other ships and then go explore their wreckage that you just created. And, there's depth to it. There's hostile creatures in the water. Several scenes in the gameplay video that they put on YouTube include them, fleeing from sharks. You can see sharks in the water trying to bite players. And it looks kind of cool. It's got kind of an art style to it. It's not hyper realistic. It's cel shaded, and there's some cartoonishness to the character models. But it does look pretty. It does look good. The water effects are really pretty. There's changing weather. There's birds flying through the sky, and it all has a really good feel to it. But one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, because, in the middle of all this, that's a cool mechanic, that looks really pretty, that looks like it would be a fun gameplay mechanic, that's a cool thing to include, it's really impressive. There was one thing that happened in the video that stood out to me, and I said, well, that kind of breaks the flow. They show a scene where the character has, taken the dinghy from their galleon and landed on an island, this, paradise, lost in paradise, desert island with a little jungle on it and whatnot. They're following they want to follow a map to treasure that's buried on the island.
We got us a map.
Yeah, except that they didn't. They forgot their map. And so they look out at the ship, and you can see another player's name on the ship, because they have their friend is playing with them. And he's like, oh, I've got the map, you forgot it. His name is up in the air, and then he lands next to the character. And that ship was hundreds of feet away, and suddenly he flew over and landed next to them and, gives them the map. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? What did he just do? And as if to answer my question, one scene later, they're showing a ship-to-ship battle where these two ships are, chasing each other down, and then they're abreast of each other, and they're firing their cannons at each other, and then they split apart. And as they split apart, the person who's, the captain of this particular ship runs over to one of the long guns on the deck, climbs into it, and then fires themselves out of it through the air. They go like 200 feet up in the air, they fly like 400 feet horizontally, and then land on the deck of the enemy ship. And they go, ugh, and lose like maybe an eighth of their health from flying out of their own cannon and landing on another ship hundreds of feet away, and then proceed to start stabbing and shooting all of the people working on this ship until they have decimated the entire crew and the boat starts sinking. I'm just
Seems
like,
legit.
what the heck? Like, everything else about the game looks awesome and pretty and cool and fun, and this is obviously fun. It's just, like, everything else looked like it was at least somewhat grounded in reality. And then I got in my own cannon and launched myself onto another ship, whereupon I slew their entire crew.
Oh,
I smoked the crew along the mountainside.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Sea of Thieves. Looks really pretty, looks really fun. You can shoot yourself out of a cannon and live.
So
Well, I'm
that's a staple
sold.
mark.
And that's all I got for E3.
Alright.
Nice.
Oh, wait, no, I also had that Monster Hunter is releasing on the Switch and the PS4. Okay, now I'm done.
Hooray!
Good night, everybody.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night. We'll wrap it up there.
We named the monkey Jack.
Jack Sparrow?
Yes, that is the reference.
And stop blowing holes in my ship.
With your body.
Guys, I just want to know one thing. Why is the rum gone?
It's always gone. You never have to
Rum
worry
is
about it
always
being
gone.
there. It is always gone.
It's always gone. Okay. Well, good night, guys.
Hashtag
Or
goodbye.
Morning, perhaps, if you're listening in the morning. But yeah.
Good-
No,
Bye.
you don't get to say it.
Bye.
Gosh darn it, Joseph.